What's up, guys and gals? My name is Pye Jirsa with SLR Lounge, and we're teaming up with B&H to bring you a first look at the new Panasonic G95 that we have here. And first off, who was this camera designed for? Well, from the overall specs and from our testing, you can tell that this camera is designed for the hybrid content creator. Specifically, the person that shoots stills and video, but I'm gonna say has more of an emphasis on video. The video functionality in this camera is fantastic, and we're gonna dive into that, talking first about what are the differences between this and its predecessor, the G85. You can see their focus on the video content creator because now with the G95, we actually have an audio jack. So we can now monitor our audio. When it comes to our recording options, we have 4K, 30 and 24p, but it now has an unlimited recording duration. Like the G85 was set to 30 minutes as a limitation on recording duration. So that's fantastic there. Do keep in mind, there's a small difference in crop factor in 4K on this guy versus the G85. This is at a 1.26, whereas the G85 is at a 1.18. Not a big deal either way, it's just slightly more cropped. You're not really gonna notice it though. The G95 also boasts 1080p at 120 frames per second, making it great for slow motion. Just keep in mind that your recording options will be limited in this mode. In addition, you're not gonna get continuous autofocus or the recording of sound. The last major update for you cinematographers and video content creators is the built-in Vlog profile, which now gives you the opportunity to capture up to 12 stops of dynamic range, allowing for a modest color grade in post. With all of these updates, we also get a new low-energy Bluetooth connectivity mode to add to its Wi-Fi connectivity. It also comes with time-lapse and a host of other new features, and it comes in at a very modest price point. Now, I took the G95 out for a couple hours of testing, and I wanted to give you some of my notes. Starting from the top, overall in terms of the build quality, I loved it. Getting it out of the box, you have a firm magnesium alloy body that is weighted and it feels great to the touch, good ergonomics, it's weather sealed. The only flip side to that is it doesn't necessarily feel like a mirrorless camera, like a small camera. It feels more like a DSLR, but I love the ergonomics of that. It's very comfortable, easy to grip, and you can tell it's built tough. Now, we paired this setup with the 14 to 140, which at f3.5 up to 5.6, that's the minimum aperture. And so you're not necessarily getting a good low light lens, nor is it gonna be a prime lens that really blurs out your backgrounds. But what you do get is an incredibly usable focal length. Keep in mind that 14 to 140 on a micro 4/3 camera is a 2-time crop, right? So this operates more like a 28 to 280, giving you wide up to telephoto range, which we had a lot of fun with. We shot some headshots. We were in the studio. I was able to go wider and use foreground elements to kind of make a creative portrait. We took it outside, zoomed into 140 millimeters, and we're still able to get good depth, and we can get separation between the subject and background. It's just a really great all-around walk-around lens. One of the things I'd love to see Panasonic improve on is the usability and user-friendliness of their menu system and design. Now, if you're coming from the G85 or other Panasonic systems, it's gonna be a breeze for you. But if you're coming from other camera makes and models, then you might want to expect a bit of a learning curve and to bust out the manual, as some of the icons and descriptions aren't necessarily that intuitive to understand. By and large, my favorite feature of this camera is the stabilization. The lens combined with the in-body stabilization makes for a powerful handheld video capture device. So check this out. I got Lex over there. I'm gonna go ahead and record. Notice my elbows are actually off the table, and you can see how steady the shot is, despite the fact that I'm actually shaking a bit. I can even add a bit of motion into it, and you can see just how smooth the motion is in the shot. Now, with its articulating screen, this makes it very powerful for vlogging style content. Just keep in mind that the 14mm lens, in conjunction with shooting 4K and on this micro 4/3 sensor, is gonna yield somewhere around 30 millimeters. So you might need something a little bit more wide, as we can't see kind of all the background behind us on just a 14 to 140. But still, this overall stabilization is some of the best that I've seen in any camera. Now overall, compared to a traditional viewfinder in a DSLR, I very much dislike EVFs. They're getting better with time and technology, but for the first time using this camera, I actually really enjoyed using the EVF on the G95. I found it to be very close to a DSLR viewfinder and a truly enjoyable experience, especially compared with the G85. Really, the only drawback for me was I expected a bit more out of the autofocus system. When it came to shooting stills and we noticed the same thing in cinema, we saw the autofocus system tending to drift in and out of focus more than we had expected for the camera. Granted, this can probably be fixed with future firmware updates. All in all, the G95 is a solid upgrade from its predecessor, and if you're a hybrid content creator with a focus more on video, but you also shoot some stills, I'd say this is a fantastic candidate for you, especially if you're already working within the Panasonic ecosystem and you have gear and lenses that can be transferred over to the G95. I hope you guys enjoyed our first look at the G95. My name is Pye, and I'll see you guys in the next video.